is a reminder of an old story. That story in a time not so long ago when the Dalai Lama, at 10 years old, had not long been placed on the throne at the Potala Palace. When it was brought to his attention that there was a monk roaming the countryside, convincing young monks in the monasteries to come and join him, and dressed in black leather, they learned his ways, which was coined as being the dance of destruction. He rose to fame when a story was told how he had met 6 bandits on the road, and he had killed 5 of them, leaving one so badly injured, but able to tell the story that they did not even know what had happened to them. So rapidly did he move in this so-called dance. So when it came to the ears of the Dalai Lama, of course it was known that he could not be thrown into jail. In fact, he'd been confronted by the authorities, and he merely said that he was a mystical worker to eradicate evil. So the recourse that the Dalai Lama had was to invite him to the palace. And this he did, the monk accepting the invitation with alacrity. But when he came and entered the reception hall, all of the monks in attendance gasped. They tittered like schoolgirls. His emanation, his muscles rippling under the black leather, and the power that was coming out of him was almost overwhelming. When he confronted the young Dalai Lama, he did not bow down as was customary, but he did nod his head in deference. And the young Dalai Lama asked the monk what he did. And the monk told his story, because it had already been told that he was of Tibetan heritage, but had spent many years in China studying the ways of Kung Fu. So the monk explained to the Dalai Lama that his purpose was, after seeing so much greed and evil in the world, that it was his calling to use his abilities to do away with this. So he said to the Dalai Lama, "My work is not unlike yours." He said to the Dalai Lama, "My way is in the dance. In the end, I can kill like I can kill a fly." The Dalai Lama responded, "We do not kill flies," which rather took the monk aback. But the Dalai Lama asked the monk, "Could you demonstrate this for me?" And the monk did so. He said, "Please come, stand before me." And when the Dalai Lama did, all of a sudden he felt as if butterflies had fluttered all over his body. And so the Dalai Lama said, well, do demonstrate to me. And the monk said, I've already done so. The touches that you could feel would have cut your carotid arteries. They would have disemboweled you. They would have cut you down at the knees. This is the way of the dance of destruction. The Dalai Lama said, there is someone who is greater than you. And the monk, pulling himself up to his full height, his muscles rippling under the black leather, scoffed at this. This was not possible. But the Dalai Lama again said to him, yes, there is one greater than you. Would you confront him? Certainly, said the monk. So the Dalai Lama called an attendant and he said, bring the dance master. In the meantime, we will have tea. So tea was served, and just when it was being completed, into the hall came an old man, bent with age, varicose veins bulging from his legs, his joints swollen with the arthritis of age. Now the monk did not scoff. He merely said that his own master of Kung Fu had been a man even smaller than this, and it had only been just before he departed from Beijing that he had been able to best him. So, standing before each other, the monk deferred to the old dance master, just waiting in a place of receptivity, allowing the dance master to make the first move. And suddenly, the old master began to whirl. As he whirled, the tip of his garment touched the bushy eyebrows of the monk, and suddenly, with great surprise, the monk found himself seeing everything before him as a dance of light and colors. As he looked around at the assembly of monks gathered, they were like shining beams. And then as the dance master whirled and his fingertips touched the nose of the monk, suddenly he could smell the smell of the freshly cut corn in the fields far away, the milk that had just been taken from the cows. And then as he whirled, again the tip of the old master's garment touching his manhood, so that it rose and burst from its sheath, throbbing as he felt the feeling and the longing and the desire to embrace the milkmaids in the far distant places. He could no longer bear the feeling of the black leather encasing him, and as he himself spun, he stripped away these garments and danced naked, spinning and whirling, as the dance master again touched those places of his being that had him feeling in such a degree of love that it was almost unbearable. For 3 days and 3 nights he danced. People came and went and were mesmerized, enthralled, drawn into the wonder of what it was that was being seen and experienced. At the end of the 3 days and 3 nights, the monk fell exhausted to the ground, but there beside him was another body, the body of the old dance master, who, in this final dance, had found the one who he had been seeking for so long, the student, the disciple who would become his successor. The monk, seeing the old body, gathered it up unto himself with such loving feeling, drawing from it the very last vestiges of what it was that the old dance master represents. The Dalai Lama rose from his throne to introduce to all who had gathered the next dancing master of Tibet. Many times it's been asked, after the stories have been told, what is the deep meaning of the story for you? But from this story, the question is asked, what is the deep feeling that this story evokes for us? And what has that got to do with our coming to recognize and experience that all our responses to life are now coming from a place that is not what we would call the mind and its ability to machiate and bring together the 3 levels of existence or awareness. What is the deep feeling that this story brings?